What's up, YouTube? Welcome back, JDS Outdoors, and welcome to the ATV Graveyard. Quite a lot happening in the background of this video at the moment. Let's turn the camera around and take a look at it. So it's a little hazy because I just got done doing some welding. But off to the side here, we got the Redneck side-by-side pushed off to the side, getting ready to be worked on. Got the old trusty Honda in the background there, and we also got my buddy's 4-tracks he's working on, trying to put a winch in the front of it. So he's using my tools to help with that. But that's not what this video is about. Today's video is going to be about the snowblower attachment for the front of my Honda. So I've done a little bit of playing and mocking up just to see how everything fits. And I think this is going to work pretty well. So here's kind of an idea on what I'm thinking and how everything's going to mount. I have little spacer blocks down here to mount the engine to. I'm going to weld some tabs. I got some tabs right here I'm going to cut and weld on so we can bolt the motor down. And mounting it at this height allows it to be centered, the shaft to be centered over the pulleys, so that should work pretty well. And then also it allows me to still change the oil with pretty good ease. Now this bracket down here is nice and cumbersome all at the same time. So it kind of gets in the way, or it goes underneath the engine a little bit and is a little in the way, but we'll weld it in place to make it work because we want to keep these pulleys, because this lever right here is the clutch to engage and disengage the engine to the blower. So we want to keep that. So that's kind of a rough idea on what I'm thinking. I'm going to go ahead and play around with it more. We're going to use the push tube off this Cabela's snowplow here that I only had for one season. Granted, I put 100 miles on this snowplow in that one season, plowing just my driveway. And what happened was I wore the cutting edge down quite a bit. Flip this up so you can see what I mean. And I know you can replace the cutting edge, but I don't know if I want to. So that edge is wore down just about on the corners. Because for some reason, this plow wouldn't sit flat all the way. It's kind of weird. So I think its parts are going to be better served for the snowblower. But anyways, I'm going to take this blade off the front, and we'll have this whole bracket assembly up here to mount to the back part of the snowblower down here. Now this is the height that this has to ride in order for the feet or the skis adjustment parts right here to ride flat. And if you notice the height off the ground, it's pretty significant. So we're going to have to figure out a way to mount the tube underneath low to keep the push tube low. That way when we lift it up with the winch, we can actually get this thing off the ground and not have it bottom out on the four-wheeler right away. So I'm going to keep putzing with this. I'll cut back in a little bit, show you what I've come up with. So here we have this plow stripped, and I got the back part of the blower stripped, trying to get everything aligned to see how it's going to fit. And then that led me to a question. Is this going to be too much weight for the front of the four-wheeler? I'm not sure. This motor, I'm guessing, weighs in the 30-ish pound range, and this is probably in the 60-ish pound range for the blower. So for the sake of numbers, we're just going to call it 100 to maybe 120 pounds roughly. And now I'm trying to figure out distances too. So I put the bracket or the push tube for the plow on the front of the four-wheeler, and then that gave me an idea. So I will show that to you. All right, now I weigh like 180 pounds, 185 or so on a good day. So I'm going to use myself as a representation of the blower. I'm going to stand up here on the front of the push tube for the plow, and we're going to watch and see how much squat or sag the front of this four-wheeler has. So it picked me up off the ground pretty easily. It did sag a little bit, but give it a bounce, and you see we still have at least half of the suspension travel left in the front. So, using me as a representation of the snowblower, I think the 120 or so pounds that thing's going to weigh is going to be just fine for the front of this four-wheeler. Granted, we're not going to have it sticking way out. I do believe the front of the plow, or the front of the snowblower, is going to come about right here. A little longer than a plow, but a lot more effective. Well, after that mess I made, I got her all mocked up. I think this is how it's going to work. So, this little mechanism here is the clutch. And it also twists the belt, because this pulley up front goes like this, and the engine pulley rides like this. So this is what twists the belt and engages the engine to the snowblower. So, as you saw me with all those sparks, I removed that chunk of metal there to give a little bit of room for this mechanism. See if I can do this one-handed here. That mechanism moves down to engage the clutch. So I'm hoping I can get it to mount and go right down in here. Should be pretty good. So all that's left now is to cut some vertical tubes that go up and down here to attach the plow or the snowblower itself to the push tube and weld it in, and then get the final height of the motor. This is one of the two. Got the other one right there. Weld those on, weld some tabs on it, and get the motor bolted to that. And head up Tractor Supply, get a belt. Then we'll be ready for winter, which is good, because northern Minnesota today got 1.5 inches of snow. Granted, didn't stick on any hard surfaces, just leaves and grass. But it's coming. It's coming soon. So that's going to conclude the first video here on the snowblower, giving you an idea of what I'm doing. Hopefully in the next video, we'll be welding this up, mount the motor, and do the first test run. Obviously, we won't have any snow to practice with. I will do a video, hopefully in a couple months, fingers crossed. I don't know if we're going to get that lucky, of the actually using it in snow, but in the next video, we'll be able to see this thing running and working and assembled. So, pretty excited about that. If you want to see that, feel free to subscribe and comment, like, all that fun stuff for all these interesting projects, which also got the winch done on the Buddy's 4-Trax here. Turned out pretty sweet. And then we're back to the side-by-side. So, yeah, as always, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching my videos. It helps keep me making more and more of them, of all the random stuff I do. Thanks for watching. JDS Outdoors.